Hello and welcome to this update on GTmail Plus and all the great innovations that have been added in the year 2019. I'm Mike McNally. I'm the Commercial Director for GT Maritime. I'll be joined by Rob Preston, who's our Senior Sales Technical Engineer, who will give you a more in-depth look at some of these great advantages that have been added. GT Maritime is committed to continually improve our products. We do that with a process which produces updates every week, nearly every week. I think 41 of the last 52 weeks we've seen updates. Those updates have been effective at increasing the availability of the product and increasing the value of the product to all of our customers. The total is 10 major enhancements that have been made in the year that were all customer driven. In addition to that, 3 new modules, completely new products that have been added underneath the GTmail Plus platform and included free of charge. So these enhancements are continually evolving the product. GTmail Plus comes from a history of our company developing maritime software over the last 20 years. GTmail Plus, roughly 7 years old, has been, as I said, updated every week. So it is as up to date as last week when the most recent features were added. We make our updates on a weekly basis rather than on a quarterly basis, which is more traditional. And that's because our customers have requirements and we don't want them to have to wait a quarter just to see those requirements come through. Also, security happens much faster than the pace of a quarterly. We need to make security updates continually in order to stay in front of the cybersecurity threats. Let's take a look at the product features that are included with GTmail Plus. Now, GT Maritime provides data optimized, secured, and delivered. GTmail Plus is handling over 11 million emails every month, including features of advanced threat protection, anti-phishing, continuity, antivirus, archiving, spam management, transfer, and eNOAD. All these modules are added to the product with no extra cost. We provide a secure and stable maritime email this way. The enhancements that have been made just this year, as I mentioned, include 10 major enhancements to the product, improvements to spam management, an entirely new facility called Continuity, which is a new module called GTmail Plus Transfer, a new module called Locator, improvements to the anti-phishing capability, a What's New feature added to the GT Maritime dashboard, so those weekly updates are easily understood by our customers and they can understand when they need to apply those updates to their ships. We provide fleet and vessel metrics, global address book, which Rob will go into more detail on, message journaling, captain approval, configuration files are now independent downloads, making remote installation much more feasible. Inbox monitor, and a mailbag policy exclusions. All of these things are going to be covered by Rob Preston. And I'm going to turn it over to Rob now.
Thanks, Mike. So the first feature we're going to talk about today is the anti-phishing module for GTmail Plus. This has seen some significant improvements since its release back in 2018. And over the last year, we have made some significant improvements to this solution, adding new functionality to this. So what you'll find is new rules to help you manage how phishing mail is actually processed and how we deal with this. What you get is end user protection. Now, what this means is we are simply tagging suspicious mail to help the crew identify, is an email potentially suspicious and is it a phishing attempt for them? We do things like keyword analysis. So we use a targeted threat database which is containing suspicious terms. We are offering spoofing protection. And what this means is we are detecting spoofing attempts, and we do this by looking at the display name and the reply to check for any mismatches to see if anybody is attempting to spoof that internal sender. There are multiple alerting mechanisms with this solution. So some examples of these might be if a message does contain a phishing attempt, what actually happens with this? So this might either go to the quarantine, you might have no action at all, you might just want to release this down to the vessel. You might want to release this to the vessel, but embed it within an email as an attachment, or even tag the subject with a phrase. You ultimately get complete control using this solution, and using the quarantine, this allows you to manage this. This brings us nicely onto the spam management feature. Ultimately, with the spam management, you've got complete control over what happens to any of those mails. So we have many different layers of security within our infrastructure, and if any of these detect an email, whether it be the spam, the antivirus scanners, the ATP, or even the anti-phishing like we've just discussed, if any of these different modules detect an email to be potentially suspicious, they will be held here in the quarantine. Now the quarantine gives you that complete control over what you want to do with this. You can go onto a message, like you can see here in an example, and you can release that email. You'll find out the reason why an email has been blocked. So for example, you can see on this example on the left hand side, it was blocked by spam. You've got that control to go on and release that email. You've got the option to release and whitelist it. So you may find over time there are certain senders that are getting listed within the quarantine. You can control that using that whitelist option. You can choose to delete it or simply view the message if you need to do any further analysis. Using the rules functionality, you can see here at the bottom of the screen on the second image, you have control over whitelisting and blacklisting. So you can choose to block emails. You can choose to allow certain emails and bypass those spam checks. You can ultimately control your own spam scoring policy as well, so you don't have to rely upon what GT Maritime dictate the policy should be. Now, we have set a default policy, and we have done this to find a fine line between the security and the operational efficiency for your vessels. However, you may find this is not right for you, and what you can do is using the anti-spam option on the dashboard, you can go in there and change it to your unique requirements. We understand not every customer is the same, and that's why we provide you this ability to control this. Next, we have continuity. Continuity is a new exciting feature which actually provides continuous uptime for your vessels. So for example, let's say your PC that is running the GTMail Plus installation, that becomes corrupt. You're no longer able to access this, whether it be a hardware failure or a ransomware attack, let's say. How does the crew access their emails? How do they communicate for help if they cannot access their email system? Well, what we have done is we have produced our continuity solution, and this simply provides an auxiliary email client in the cloud. This runs in the GT Maritime cloud, and all you need is an internet connection and a web browser, and you can log on to the continuity and you can continue sending and receiving emails from anywhere in the world without being on board the vessel. So this solution will allow you to continue your business operations. Next, we have transfer. So the GTMail Plus transfer module contains two additional pieces of functionality. You have auto attachment, which simply takes an attachment from a folder and sends it to an email recipient. You can choose various different options what you want to do with this file, but it's simple EDI functionality. You may previously have seen this from our Raft solution. However, this is basic file transfer functionality provided free of charge within GTMail Plus. Next, there is the autosave, and the autosave allows you to extract incoming data from an email and deliver it to a folder. Next, we have GTMail Plus Locator, previously known as tracking. What this does is it's simply on the Shoreside portal, you have a map view, and we can take the GPS position from a compatible terminal on board your vessel. So for example, a Fleet Broadband, it might be a Certus terminal, it might be a particular VSAT terminal. As long as they've got a compatible GPS antenna, we can collect the GPS coordinates and we can display them on a map. You get a view whereby you can see your entire fleet or individual vessels, the particular route they have been going. This data is also exportable, so you can take that particular coordinate data and you can export it in a CSV format to deliver it to third parties for integration into their systems. Next, we have the global address book. This new feature allows you to share your email address book with your vessels. So do you have a centralized address book repository whereby you are sharing with your colleagues and any changes are continuously updated around your corporate office? Have you wanted to share this alongside the vessels and you centrally managed any amendments to these? Well, now you can using the global address book. What this feature allows you to do is connect via LDAP to your corporate systems, for example, an Active Directory. Maybe you're using Office 365 and you have shared global address lists. You can connect to them, you can extract the data, you can take that data in a CSV format, for example, and import it onto the GT Maritime dashboard. That address book then is then shared between the vessels, or any changes are incrementally downloaded to the vessel. On board, using a compatible email clients, for example, Outlook or maybe Thunderbird, you can connect via that LDAP connector to this centralized address book, and then you can retrieve that data. And any changes you may make moving forward, those changes will be sent down to the vessel, and everybody is sharing that same data. Next, you have the fleet and vessel level metrics. So the various different data points we hold on the dashboard, we are taking these, we are analysing these, and we are presenting them in a visual format so you can easily digest this information. So a little example here is the compressed versus the uncompressed size. So straight away here, this tells me what my return on investment is using such email solution with the compression. You can see how significant cost savings would be using this. You can see things like the total messages. You can see various different trends, like to see which vessels within a fleet are sending more data than others. You can see actively connecting vessels. There is various different data, and there will be more in the future being added to this. These metrics can be viewed either at vessel level or the group level. Next, we have the mailbag policy exclusions. So the mailbags feature is a way of allowing you to set different policies up based on the different connection types. However, what we have done over the last year is we've been adding additional policies to these. So this will, for example, allow you to exclude file transfer using Raft. It will allow you to exclude antivirus, or even allow you to exclude any crew messages over a given connection. So for example, let's take a scenario of a VSAT with an Iridium backup. You might decide on the VSAT, we want to allow the file transfer, we want to allow the antivirus updating, and we also want to allow the crew to continue to use the system. When on Iridium though, you do not want to allow any of these particular systems to update. So you may utilize the mailbag policy exclusion to do this. Next, we have the message journaling. So previously, if a captain, for example, wanted to receive a copy of all emails sent and received on board the vessel, the processing for this would occur on the shore side. With the inclusion of the message journaling functionality, this processing is now done locally on board the vessel. So no longer does this consume data to process this, to send it to shore, to then receive back on board. This is all done locally with no additional data overhead. Captain Approve. This is an additional piece of functionality which gives the captain greater control of those emails leaving the vessel. So the Captain Approve feature allows you to set up schedules with your vessels and then allow the captain to manually approve or deny emails before being sent. Next, we have the GTML Plus config download. So previously, if you wanted to customize a vessel's configuration, downloading this would include the actual software itself. However, this particular config is now available to download independently. You can download a given configuration file individually for a vessel, or you can download an entire fleet's worth of configurations in one go, and this is going to significantly save on vessel deployment time. Next we have the What's New. The What's New button that you will see on the dashboard in the top right hand corner, or even on the downloads menu by each and every download. The What's New feature will show you the various different release notes for that given release, and it allows you to keep updated on the ever-changing software. So that brings me to an end of this presentation. Thank you for joining today, and I hope you found this useful. If there are any questions afterwards, or if you would like to review any of the particular features in more details, please do contact us, and we will be more than happy to review these further with you.